Hello, and welcome to another synth tutorial with computer music. In this tutorial, we're going to be exploring how to create a really cool and interesting sound, which uses the filter to effectively play a little riff or melody. This is the kind of sound that's been made very popular by a lot of electronic artists, but particularly artists such as Daniel Avery. We'll be using our ZebraCM plugin to do this, but you can use any plugin which is equipped with a filter and the ability to create user waveforms within the LFO section. You could theoretically also use automation within the DAW to create a similar process, but we're going to be creating a user-defined LFO shape because it's a facility we have available to us within the ZebraCM. So let's begin by performing an initialize. We do this by going to the menu and display at the top and coming down to the bottom and selecting Init. This initializes our patch, and a word of warning, we'll just want to turn the volume down a little bit, so we go to the master control, which is at the bottom right hand side, and change that to a value of 50. Remember, every time you change a value on a pot, you'll see the display represent that value at the top. We begin creating our sound with oscillator number 1, which actually we're going to leave in its default state. We're going to be using a sawtooth wave here, predominantly because it's very rich in harmonic content, and we need that richness of content in order to get this patch to work. So we can now head straight to the filter section, click on the filter drop-down, and select LP Excite. This is quite a contemporary sounding filter, and it's perfect for the sound we're trying to create here. We're going to adjust the two controls which are pretty much always there on a filter. Firstly, the cutoff control, which we set to a value of 79. And then secondly, the resonance control, which we're going to set relatively high at a value of 85. Now, it's this resonance control which actually resonates the point of cutoff. Consequently, when we play a note on the keyboard now, we'll hear that sort of resonant whistling. And you'll also notice that if you adjust the cutoff control while you play a note, you can see you can pick out those harmonics. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing, except we're going to be automating it using the LFO and a user assignable waveform. Talking of which, we need to make sure that the LFO is heading in the direction of the filter. So going to one of the user-definable pots, like this one at the bottom here, we're going to reassign this from envelope 2 to LFO 1. We also need to dictate the amount which is heading in the direction of the filter, so we change the pot value to a value of only 11. Now we move to the LFO section itself, and we're going to select a user-defined waveform from the drop-down menu in the LFO section. Now, when we do this, we end up with lots of different points. In fact, there are 16 points. We're going to keep things nice and simple for the time being, so change the number of points to 4. And you can see immediately it becomes a little bit simpler. At the moment when we play a sound, it just sounds like this. However, when we start altering the steps that we have in the user-defined LFO, it will be sent in the direction of the filter. If we set the first step to a value of 80, so we're nudging this up, but we're also watching the value at the top so that it reaches 80. You'll now hear when you play your sound, it sounds like this. So you can hear very clearly where that step is. We're going to continue along this line, setting step number 2 to a value of 60. And that now sounds like this. We're going to leave step number 3 where it is, at a default of 0, and we're going to drag step number 4 down to a value of -50. And you can hear we're picking out a little tune there. Now actually we've set this up so if you play the note E on your keyboard, it picks out pitches from the harmonic series which are related to the note E. You can obviously change this to suit any notes you want, so you can experiment by changing the number of points to a value up to 32. With 32 steps available, that's quite a tune you could create.